She made up her mind. She would tell her husband all about it when she got back home. A full confession. She felt a tight knot in her stomach. She dreaded this talk. Still, better Frank hear the truth from her than from somebody else. She was 5 blocks from the house, walking their Jack Russell Terrier, Cosmo. It was 11:30, and a chilly autumn wind crept through the night air. She and Frank had just returned from an awful party. They'd flipped a coin over who got dog duty. Connie had called heads, and it had come up tails. So she'd put her coat back on, grabbed the leash and a couple of pooper-scooper bags, then let Cosmo lead the way out the front door. Connie Schaefer was 30 years old, with green eyes and shoulder-length wavy auburn hair. She'd dressed to the nines tonight, a simple sleeveless black dress that showed off her thin figure, and on a delicate chain the gold heart-shaped locket Frank had given her last Valentine's Day. Connie's $200 Amalfis made a curious click-click sound on the sidewalk. They lived in a townhouse in Redmond, not far from one of the main shopping areas. Their neighborhood had sprouted up in the mid-'80s, a maze of little roads with new split-level and Rambler-style houses dwarfed by tall old trees. There wasn't anyone else out at this hour, so Connie had plenty of time to think, sometimes out loud. "I'm sure half the people at the party knew," she muttered, pausing for a moment while Cosmo sniffed at a tree trunk. "That Hannah has such a big mouth." Cosmo pulled her farther down the sidewalk, beneath a sputtering streetlight, and past a gnarly old oak. Someone had left their recycling bins on the sidewalk. Connie stepped around them. The party had been at the home of a former coworker from their Microsoft days. Connie and Frank had met while working there. Half the people at tonight's soiree had been at their wedding 4 years ago. Both Frank and Connie had since moved on to other jobs, but before leaving, Connie had become involved with a coworker, Gary Levinson. It lasted only a week, after months of flirting. Talk about a long build-up to nothing. At the time, she'd been pretty miserable at home, with Frank ignoring her while he focused on his new job. And there was Gary, a bit older, 32 at the time, divorced, nice eyes, and saying all the right things. It didn't matter he was balding and about 20 pounds overweight. Gary made her feel special. Connie ended it. She couldn't stand the sneaking about. Besides, after a few times with Gary, he didn't seem so charming anymore. In fact, she realized he was a jerk. Whenever they'd gone out to eat together, he'd treated the wait people like crap. Always a bad sign. Moreover, she heard from several coworkers that he was a backstabbing sleazeball.